Welcome to episode 35 of the Play Your Yards Right podcast. As always, I am Sasha here with my wonderful co-hosts, Sarah and Mike. And the NFC East is dead. RIP, this podcast was founded on. Some of us, the Giants fans, we had to get sad earlier. But for those, I don't know if I know any Cowboys fans, maybe some Eagles fans, they had to get their hearts ripped out in a brutal fashion. Sarah, we're going to get into a little bit later, but I think everyone here is tuning in just to make sure you're still doing well, a little wellness check, making sure that everything is okay. So how are you feeling now?
I am not well. Not well. You're checking in on me. This is not a wellness check, it's a check-in. I am recovering enough to come talk about it on here, I think. I honestly was like, I'm not doing the podcast. I was about to cancel it altogether on Sunday forever. But I'm here. I'm putting on my brave face to talk about it. And the only thing that's giving me strength is the fact that the Eagles embarrass themselves as well. And that's all I have at this moment in time. That's it.
It's a what have you done for me lately kind of league. And the last game I remember seeing, the Eagles looked like dog shit. So I think that's all we need to really focus on.
Yes, exactly. I'll take that. I appreciate that.
So we will break down all of the games. We can start in chronological order. So, I mean, what a great weekend. Always fun. Playoff football is exciting. Having the 6 games. I don't know if I like the 2 every day better or not. It was kind of nice to have that one delayed. And, I was off on Martin Luther King Day. So it was nice to have 2 whole games of football there going on. But Texans Browns, we started off with an absolute barn burner. I think we were all, I kind of went into the game thinking the Texans were going to be pretty decent, but I was fully ready for the NFL script writers to get the Joe Flacco going back to Baltimore thing going. And CJ Stroud is just an absolute cold-blooded killer, just a complete stud. So that just completely changed everything and really made for a fun game until they just blew the doors off them.
Yeah, I don't know if it's I was wondering if it's the Browns defense was incredible in a lot of the games throughout the year. We talked about that, but I wonder if maybe it was more that the defense didn't show up, because I mean, like I watched Stroud did look great, but guys were open unlike I've never seen. It was like every play they were open, 2-3 yards of space.
Yeah.
It looked like once they were doing a good job of blocking and protecting on the line, that when Myles Garrett was kind of like eliminated and Jadeveon Clowney was eliminated, it felt like the Browns secondary couldn't do it. I was so shocked.
Yeah.
To me, it just seemed like the Browns underestimated the Texans offense, or just were ill prepared, because exactly like Mike said, I mean, CJ Stroud is incredible and I think he's so fun to watch, but guys were very open. In the first quarter, it was like, oh my, this is like effortless. Like, you didn't need to be the stud that CJ Stroud is, making some of those completions. So I feel like it just seemed like the Browns were not prepared for the moment from a defensive standpoint. And I don't know, Flacco was just Flacco, the slipper fell off at this point, which is sad I do feel bad for the Browns fans. I do. But I am happy the Texans moved on. They're the better team for sure.
Definitely. And they should make for a little bit more fun, because I do think everybody was kind of waiting for that moment where Joe Flacco became the Joe Flacco that was unemployed for the first 10 weeks of the season, and not, what we just saw there. But I just felt so weird, like these teams like on defense that are so different at home and away. I just don't understand like how good the Browns defense could be at home, and all of a sudden they go and they give up. I mean, I guess they didn't give up all the points. There were those back-to-back pick sixes, so that's not really the defense's fault. But, they were just moving the ball so well. And the Texans are just so young, so exciting. D'Amico Ryans, I feel like, how can you not like him? And then this is also forgetting like Tank Dell, who is basically like their number 1 receiver, is not even on this team right now. So they could be really good for a really long period of time. Who knows what this next week will bring, but I think it's exciting. I also feel good for them. Like they're not, I know the Browns are always kind of downtrodden, but it's not like the Texans are some juggernaut of an organization. So they're also certainly a feel-good story.
For sure. I think everyone's fine with whoever came out of this game, unless you're a loyal fan base of the Browns, and maybe if there's a loyal Texans fans, but overall feel-good stories on either side, I feel like.
100%. Next game, Chiefs Dolphins. That was, I don't think anybody was that surprised. It seemed like the weather was the number 1 talk of the town going in. But Mike, getting out of the AFC East, it's got to feel good to have the only AFC East team left in the fight at this point.
It felt inevitable. We knew we were getting here. The Dolphins did what the Dolphins do. They laid down. They They rolled on their bellies and let Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs pet them. And the only thing that upset me was I feel like they really let them kind of find themselves in this game. Tua is what we thought he was. Tua is not a big game quarterback. He is in a perfect scenario, perfect weather, perfect game plan, perfect health. He can get it done, and he does look great in those moments, but he's not a guy like I was telling Sasha beginning of the game. I'm like, you can see that they don't trust him to make the throws. So many of those throws were behind the line of scrimmage, like trying to do screen plays. And the minute they tried to throw it deep, he overthrew Jalen Waddle by like 3 yards over his head for what was the easiest pick I've seen thrown all year. Their run game looked like it looked like everybody kind of was overhyped all year long, and it kind of came crashing down. And Jalen Ramsey looked. It just the Dolphins were telling us the whole time what they were, and we found out.
Yeah.
And it's really, I couldn't feel any worse for the Dolphins fans out there. But they'll have the banner of winning the AFC East in week 7, so they've got that.
Yeah, I don't really know where
Bye.
I don't know where they go from here. I feel like they're certainly relatively tied in with Tua. I think a lot of people like him.
Well, he's on his 5th-year option, so they have to make a decision because you can't have your best player playing on a player option.
Yeah.
Got to pay him, or you got to trade him.
Do something. I don't know who wants him. I mean, it's a really tough situation because the team had a good record this year. It came down to the last week of the season. They had a chance to win the division. Obviously did not, and just kind of crumbled when they're ever playing against a good team. But
in any bit of weather.
Yeah, they have those glimpses of it's like, oh, you can put up 70 points. But yeah, I think somebody said it on the broadcast, or I can't remember where I heard this, but there are a few guys that can go out and win a game, like the Josh Allens, the Mahomeses, the Lamar Jacksons, that they can really shoulder the burden of winning a game. And then there are guys like Brock Purdy, and there are guys like Tua that when everything is perfect and everybody's healthy, like they can manage the game. But when it came down to it, like Tua was just throwing ducks. The weather was bad. The team just looked like they were just clunky, and it felt like the Chiefs knew exactly where every play was going and could stop every play in its track before it even started. So I'm glad we don't have to worry about watching the Dolphins in cold weather anymore. The Chiefs I don't think the Chiefs are that good, but I think they were the better team that night. And I'm personally getting really tired of the Chiefs. Mahomes seems so whiny and just like such a little crybaby. Their fans seem annoying. You got to have Taylor Swift on the TV 1,000 times.
Well, only for 1 more week.
Yeah. But I'm getting very tired of the Chiefs. I didn't know that this I used to just kind of not care about them and thought like, oh, it's fun to watch really good football because it's like watching Mahomes do amazing things. It's like I can at least acknowledge that this is fun. Now I just don't even think they're that good. So watching them is just more annoying for me.
Yeah. I feel like this is that pivotal point that everyone was waiting for, because I feel like everyone was kind of in the same boat last year where it's kind of like the Chiefs are turning into a dynasty, but no one's really bothered by them yet, like too much. But we all knew the time would come, just like the Patriots. And I feel like this is it because, like, just like you said, all the storylines, whether it's Taylor Swift, Mahomes complaining about his receivers this year, them not actually being this good, but yet still probably going to end up making a playoff push unless Mike and his Bills are able to, come in and save us here, which I think they're capable of doing. But still, I just feel like I agree with you. I agree with you, Sasha. I think that this is a point, like, I'm just sick of it. And I don't know if you've seen just like the memes and just like the videos of all the people like mimicking Mahomes that is just like weird body language and like, he does like this or like he like flaps his arms and everything. Those are like kind of hilarious, but also equally annoying because it's just, I don't know, it's whiny. I think you said it perfectly. And I don't know, the only thing about the Chiefs I really like still is Andy Reid, and that's the kind of what's pulling me through, but they're getting increasingly annoying for sure.
Yeah, his frozen mustache was definitely the best part of the whole game.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
It was going to be a cold ride later.
Yeah, for Mahomes.
But so that game ended the Saturday night. It was beautiful. And then what was the next game?
Oh, I don't think I don't remember.
I don't quite remember.
Something happened.
No.
I remember it was kind of surprising.
Yeah, was it?
It was shocking. It was shocking. I'm ripping the Band-Aid off and stopping you two here from this. The Dallas Cowboys came out and laid an absolute egg, is what happened. And I have no other words. I would say it was shocking, but at the same time, a little part of me was like, this is so classic. I almost knew this was going to happen. It was very bizarre processing this game. I watched this game from the Orlando International Airport on a TV screen, with no sound,
Great
which was
venue.
probably
That's
for
a
the
great
best.
venue.
Yeah, great venue.
Yeah.
Watch
Great
party.
venue. I watched with a bunch of fake Cowboys fans, like middle-aged women who like had their Dak Prescott jersey on, but then they're just like yelling like "Get him" the whole time, like to everything, offense and defense, and they're just saying like "Get him," and I'm just like not applicable at all, and it hurt. This game was just. Uh, I don't even know how. I don't know. I'm still trying to process where we go from here, but ultimately, breakdown. Dak was trash. He had the yips. Mike McCarthy did not get the team prepared for this game. Whether it was game planning, his play calling, motivational, he doesn't bring it. He just clearly doesn't have it as a coach. And I know they've had, these successful 12-win seasons, but every single time during a big game, if you think back over the past few years, and I've been saying this over and over again, the team is never prepared overall. They're, undisciplined, getting penalties. They feel like they're off in these big games. And this is a repetitive pattern under him. And I think we just need a coach who is more motivational, better at, mentally and physically preparing the team each week for whoever they're facing off. And that's not McCarthy. CD might be the most non-dramatic drama queen there is out there, because I'm sick of hearing Greg Olson. He's like, oh, CD, he's a mild-mannered guy. He's not really one to go. No, he's not mild-mannered. If we're saying he's mild-mannered repeatedly, he's not, because we've all seen him on the sidelines with his pouty faces. You can tell when they're down and he's not getting the ball, he is not running his routes to completion. He's, not blocking like he should be. And I had no sound on this game, so I don't know what happened, but I can't even really find why exactly he was all pissed off on the first offensive drive of the game.
It was his first missed pass, and it was like he quit on the game. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was bizarre. Like, to CD, and then that's the interception right there, because he's forcing it to him. Like, you got to be better than that from Prescott's standpoint. And CD, I don't know what was going on. Like, it clearly started before the game happened, I would presume, and things were building, because, like you said, it was the very first drive, which just is kind of bizarre. But I don't know. And again, that's kind of on the coaching, right? Like, if these guys are that pent up and anxious and worked out before the game, that shouldn't be happening. You need to be in there motivating them, getting everyone on the same page and feeling confident, in what they're going out to do. So I don't know. They sucked on all ends. Dan Quinn, like, is he not good? I don't know. Sometimes he has these flashes of greatness, and then I'm like, well, he did get fired from the Falcons for a reason, because he did not call a good game this week. They were, again, not prepared. It felt like our pass rush has not been what we thought it was this year. We, like, sack numbers are down significantly. Our secondary, yes, we could use Trayvon Diggs, but I don't know. Jordan Love made this look so easy, and I think he's a pretty good quarterback, but not how easy we made it look for them by any means. So
And I don't know how much adding a Diggs brother to a bad game situation is good for your team. Just
yeah,
FYI.
I appreciate that perspective. Maybe
It's
not.
got to be going
but-
well for them to be happy.
But I don't know.
They did finally get a Micah Parsons holding call though.
Oh my God. I'm sick of Micah Parsons too, though, honestly, because he's been yapping about that for the past few weeks, which he hasn't, but he's not producing. If he's getting held that much and getting double teamed, why the heck is no one else getting any sacks? Like, I'm sick of it. I'm really sick of hearing about him, and I hate how much they're praising him during the games. He's a very talented, generational player. I get that, but he needs to keep putting up the stats for that. And he if they're saying he's the game changer that he is, I'm not seeing it. We're not winning these games. The defense is not creating turnovers like they used to. And I don't know. I think, again, I guess maybe that falls under Dan Quinn, and maybe I'm just looking to blame all it. I've been a loyal Dak fan for a very long time, and he's very calm, cool, collected in certain situations, but then the big games, he doesn't have it. He doesn't have that clutch gene, and you need that in your quarterback for sure. So
What do you?
I don't
how do
know.
you
Braden
think-
Aubrey even decided
Oh, I was just gonna say, how does yeah, here we go, do when you're down by 30 points?
down
Like,
bad.
is
It's
the offensive
down really
line
bad.
shut up already?
Yeah. Did you they also, like, had hats made, like, they literally released them before the playoff game, the
Oh.
Here We Go hats. I hope they burned the inventory of that. Like, I really hope that they did, because that I was like, "Thank God I don't have the sound," because I did not wanna hear any Here We Goes any further from there, and I'm sure the people in the stands did not,
I
but
don't like it.
That's like
I kind of like it when it's not against the Bills. Like he'll go up and I'll just try to time it out with him, and I'm in my living room going, "Here we go."
yeah.
It's like a
I like
chance.
it other than when they're losing. Exactly. I
Yeah,
mean, even in the
right.
Bills game, I was like, thank God we can't hear this. But I don't know. Everyone, even Brandon Aubrey, decided he had to suck because he also missed a field goal. Like, it was just bad. To me, that's again points back to like bad morale, right? Like, this guy has been money all season. And just the fact like everything was crumbling apart, I have to take that all the way back up to the chain of coaching. So that is why I have decided to put my focus on where we go next from coaching. There's a lot of good coaches out there this year. Vrabel, Belichick, maybe even Harbaugh. I don't know, but I'm just living and breathing at this point. On the point, I'm waiting for Jerry Jones to make that decision at some point soon.
Yeah, I wonder when he'll let him go. If he'll let him go, I would imagine he kind of has to at this point. I mean, it does seem, I don't know, is it a good landing spot or is it bad? Because obviously it's like maybe the most scrutinized position in maybe all of sports is the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. So it's like a lot of pressure, but you clearly have a lot of raw talent and a lot of players that want to go there. You know, they have the money, they have a lot of talent, they have the willingness to like succeed, you would think. So it's like, a guy like Belichick may want to go there because it's relatively turnkey operation. He's 70 years
Hmm.
old, and it's not going to be like a 5, 6, 7 year rebuilding process. Like, you have the pieces, and it does kind of seem like coaching may be the issue. So but also, do you want to go have to deal with Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys media all of the time? So I don't know if it's good or bad, but it certainly seems like it would be maybe a decent landing spot for one of these guys.
Yeah, I think so because, like you said, I think I see it perfectly for Belichick in that they have what they need right now, and that window is closing. They have, a lot of free agents this year even to deal with, but I see it for a temporary fit for, now for him just to kind of step in and let the Joneses take the media aspect side of things, and Belichick's not known for his drafting, but the Jerry Jones and like his family, they've done a pretty good job, with their draft capital in the past, handful or longer of years. So I think if they can just maybe like distinguish that line a little bit, they could find a happy medium to make it work in two individuals who maybe don't always seem like they would be the best fit together. But I did hear today that Derrick Henry also is interested in the Cowboys. He said he's not done yet
To be their coach.
playing. No, playing.
Oh,
That would be,
okay,
I wouldn't
still
even say
going.
that.
All right.
Playing. So I'm like thinking that could be, I'm starting to come around at like, I just need change to get over this game. I need change. We can't go back to the same thing. I think I sat here on our one of our first episodes this year and said, if Mike McCarthy didn't take the Cowboys, I was saying potentially even the NFC title game, like, the championship game. If he didn't get them there, that he should be fired. And here we are going out in the wild card round. So to me, it's clear cut he has to go, and I think that's what everyone was saying before the season even started. We just because they got 12 wins, I don't think we should forget that.
I think Belichick's going to the Falcons.
Which is like so lame. Why?
So weird.
I know, but like it kind of makes sense. They also have a lot of pieces put together, and their defense was pretty good. And it seems like Arthur Blank is kind of like lets the coaches coach and control. Like he'll have a lot of control there, which I'm sure is important to him. I wonder if you guys.
Quarterback though.
I wonder if Mike Tomlin or Vrabel or Harbaugh. Seems like Harbaugh is going to go to the Chargers, though.
Yeah, that's my reach thoughts back there, but I would take Tomlin honestly because I know he's been very mediocre, but he hasn't had the talent that the Cowboys have right now, or cumulatively speaking. He seems like the motivational disciplinarian type coach that we need on this team. So I think it would be a good fit.
How long do you think it's going to take to get the smell out of the office of whatever McCarthy left in there?
They're gonna fumigate, professional fumigation, most
It's
likely
like that
for sure.
episode of The Office where he's just coming in with his giant pot of chili, like Kevin.
Yeah.
Spilling it over.
That's
his first day
McCarthy
in his
leaving.
office.
That's him on the way out. Yep.
I haven't been able to get the chili smell out of here in 2 years.
He doesn't have a cardboard box of papers. He has a pot of chili that he can walk out with. That is hilarious.
It's been marinating
All right.
since the offseason.
We'll get our
Mhm.
we'll get our PR person making that meme as soon as
Yeah,
it gets fired.
Yeah.
So Sarah, I mean, I guess we should maybe give a little bit of our flowers to the the Packers did play a great game. They're super young. I think LaFleur's a great coach. I don't know where they go from here. I mean, it seems like they can keep this together and then just continue to dominate the NFC North for the next 15 years because everybody is super young, but and also think about how much better this team would be if they didn't trade for would give up
Rasul
Rasul
if
Douglas.
we didn't let us steal him on our team.
Yeah,
future Jets quarterback Jordan Love looks like he's the guy. I mean, in 2040 when he's on the Jets, I might be a little nervous when he comes out and takes the field. It's just a bunch of no-name. I mean, they're not no-name receivers. It's just crazy. It's like every week he's completing 4 passes to another guy I did not know existed. And I play fantasy football pretty heavily and gamble. And I'm like, who is this guy? They seem to be talented on offense. Aaron Jones has been absolutely lighting it up. And if they can keep developing the run game like that, and they're really going to use him. I've said back when Rodgers was there, I didn't understand the Packers would not just pound the ball with Aaron Jones. And I know he's injury prone, but like in these big games, they gave him the ball. He scored 3 touchdowns. Yeah. He was awesome.
Yeah.
He's an angry runner. He's really good, fast, shifty. And this is his like utmost peak in terms of he's 29 years old. This is it. They blocked really well. Their defense is like trick or treat. One week they look like the worst defense in the league, and then all of a sudden they're pretty put together. Jair Alexander is an awesome cornerback, so he's going to be a difficult coverage guy on everybody's number one. But
yeah,
who knows? I feel like they may have won their Super Bowl this week, though.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
I would also just feel like the kind of thing where it's like the Cowboys have always been so good because like they build from the lines. And it's like, I'm always like, why aren't people doing this? So it's like, why aren't you just looking at what's successful and we're following that? It's also, I feel like the same thing. It's like the Packers keep drafting a quarterback, have them sit behind somebody decent for a while, grow up, learn the NFL speed, and then come in and be amazing. And I get that there's a lot of like, we're spending draft capital on this guy in the first couple picks. He needs to come in and he needs to play right away. But it's like, there's this very clear track record of, you sit behind them. Obviously you're not coming in at 21. You're coming in at 24, 25, 26. When you know the game speed a little bit, you've learned from somebody and like, it works out really well.
Yeah. This trend of starting your first round or first pick quarterbacks, I think has burnt out a lot of guys. And at that position, a lot of it is like your confidence and also the amount of hits they take early in their career. I think really affects the way that they play quarterback going forward. There's been a lot of talented players, quarterbacks, that I think it was just they're thrust into the position before they have time to get up to that NFL speed. Josh Allen, I think we benched him for like, I want to say like 8 weeks or 6 weeks or something. And even that little amount of time, you could see like, it was like, we weren't a good team. And a lot of times these guys are getting starts on shitty teams with shitty lines and no-win scenarios. And, who knows what some of these guys, the amount of flameouts at these top quarterback things, I think a lot of it is attributed to them being pushed into it. Trying to run an NFL offense at 22 years old is really hard.
Yeah.
And look at a guy like 100%. Baker
Mm-hmm.
finally maybe in like maybe a kind of good situation in terms of stability, and he's playing really well.
Mm-hmm.
But they pushed him in, they made him start, and he got killed on the. I mean, he was actually kind of good in the beginning, but you know what I mean. Sam Darnold, same thing. I think he's super talented, and that Jet situation just ruined him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and they can't get it back.
Okay.
It's like with Bryce Young, who knows if he'll be able to come back. I don't even know how good Patrick Mahomes could be on that team.
He was out for a year, right? Good point.
Patrick Mahomes, that behind Alex Smith. So who knows? I feel like it makes a lot of sense, but obviously, a lot of these teams are drafting a quarterback because they don't.
Lamar sat a year behind Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
When you start to think about it, there's a lot of them. I remember when Peyton Manning, long time ago, Peyton Manning was going to start his rookie year, and that was like unheard of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and now it's the norm.
And a couple things. I feel like Andrew Luck ruined it for that because he came right in and was good.
Really good.
And Adrian Peterson ruined it for people that are trying to heal from their ACL because he came back in like 7 months or something.
I thought you were going to talk about him like with his kids.
well, speaking of,
you ruined it for parents everywhere.
Adrian Peterson, let's switch up the topic. But also going on teams that may have won their Super Bowl this week. Rams Lions, great game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was awesome to see those fans. Super happy, just all about it. It just felt good. Like no matter who you're rooting for, you were happy to see the Lions pull that out. So good for Detroit. And I mean, I personally, I'm all in on the Lions. I love it. I feel like it's going to end poorly. They were like, they're crying and like they're celebrating like they won the Super Bowl. So it's like,
Yeah.
you guys got to show up in, whatever, 6-7 days and like do this again. So it
Yeah.
almost feels like, I hope that they didn't, but it feels like they almost spent all that emotional energy already. But it was a great game. I would say maybe, yeah, probably the best game of the weekend. It was actually close, came down to the wire. It was exciting. I can't believe Sam Laporta's leg still works and like
Unbelievable.
can catch touchdowns. So
I know.
they kept saying it's like, oh, he's young. It's like, I don't know what that means. Like, why his
It's the
yeah,
adrenochrome.
it doesn't
Yeah.
matter that he's young. His knee shouldn't be able to bend backwards.
Yeah.
Sean McVay, that is it was looked almost like my Sean McDermott, the way he blew
Yeah.
into that game. And I'm gonna do a better job next year too. We're gonna point out these why teams need somebody, and I always joke it's playing Madden, but like these guys gotta play Madden and get the reps in of like how you manage the clock. First of all, my entire thing when I'm watching a Bills game is if we burn a timeout in the third quarter, I stand up. I'm like, we're gonna fucking lose. We're gonna lose this game because you always need those 3 timeouts. It is a math. It's not even like up for debate. If you don't have them, you are 1 first down away from the game being over in a 4-minute scenario with any team that's got any semblance of like being put together, and you're usually losing to them, so they're playing well. McVay goes, he burns 2 timeouts on third down situations where they're pinned back, where it's like, take the 5 yards. Then he decides to punt with 4 minutes left on 4th and 14. First of all, at that point, then kick the field goal. You don't trust Brett Maher, but like you can't give him the ball back there. And the last piece, and this one got me, this is Madden 101. He lets the clock run down to the 2-minute warning instead of using that last timeout. And then immediately on the next play, they get the first down and it's 3 kneels and you go home. How do they not understand that? They're being paid millions of dollars to understand that.
That is crazy.
And he was just sitting there, like not blinking, like the 1,000-yard stare. Like somebody, take the controls from this guy.
He was thinking about how he had to get home and shave his beard. He had some stuff growing in. He had to go home and trim it up.
It was blatant mismanagement. You have a guy like Stafford. I understand it's 4th and 14, but it's the exact same scenario. If you don't get those yards, then if you punt, there's no need to pin them back. They don't need to go the whole distance. They don't need to score. They just need 2 or 3 first downs.
Yep.
And you punt with the biggest, like,
so stupid.
Oh my God, it's so bad. It's so crazy. If they get it on the 40, they still need the same 3 first downs.
Yep.
It's just, how does nobody on the sideline say that? They worked so hard to pull that team that was supposed to be like really bad this year to the playoffs, and just to have no fucking game plan in the last 5 minutes is crazy. Crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm excited. If they want to reach out, it's Play Your Bets Right at Twitter. DM me.
Be happy to do that.
We can negotiate. I can come in. I play a lot. I used to play a lot more. I can play more Madden if you pay me.
You need it. Part of me thinks that he was maybe just lost. I could see Dan Campbell on the sideline, just like foaming at the mouth and like doing the thumb across the neck thing, and he just got lost and got very scared because Dan Campbell's horrifying. But
It's that Shane Gillis thing.
Oh, just staring at him.
I'm gonna come down there and beat the fuck out of you.
It just kind of like threw his brain in the pudding. But it's like Puka Nakua is really, really good. Dude just runs angry.
Great
It's like, they have some weapons, and like at moments, I mean, prior to this game, I thought they had really good coaching that kind of got them there, but just weird stuff at the end of the game. Rams made it farther than they expected. Good for the Lions, and I would really like to see the Lions move on.
Yeah, it's fun. Jared Goff's been to the Super Bowl. People like don't talk about that. I don't know how they just discount it like he had nothing to do with it. Like the guy has had playoff success.
Yeah.
And he is good. You keep the roof over him. You keep that
him warm.
That puppy warm. He's a bro. I don't know why I call him a puppy.
Yeah.
Puppy cute.
Yeah.
He does.
We'll next week we'll do our dog rankings of what quarterback is what dog.
Ooh,
so we can put
I like
that
it.
together.
Oh.
Like that.
So speaking of dogs, though,
Pitbull.
speaking of dogs,
yeah,
Mike, Bills Steelers game got moved. I'm a little upset because early in the week I was proud of myself. I bet the under because the weather looked terrible. Then they decided to move the game, which I get for the safety, needed to happen, but I feel like I should get my money back for that bet. But I don't really know who to talk to about that. Nobody responds to my emails. But Bills Steelers.
Keep sending them.
I'll just keep sending them into these. Bills Steelers. I think Steelers made it a little closer at the end than anybody expected, than that the game felt. But how are you feeling?
Great. I feel great. Listen, just another day, another win for the Bills. What did I say? We're just going to come out. We just got to win 3 more games now, and we will have completed a wonderful comeback and a season turnaround. If we have any World War II listeners out there, I apologize for this reference, but not since Normandy have I seen so many of our good troops go down in one game. We lost like our entire defense once. This is like our second defense, and they're all hurt now too. So we've got some major I'm going to try to pull this up to show you. Our injury report is hysterically long.
That's a lot of people.
It is. I don't know if you can see this on here. Oh,
no,
maybe not.
No, I'll take your word for it.
It's the entire defense. The only 2 offensive players on there are Josh Allen with his neck injury, apparently, which he doesn't have, and Gabe Davis. The rest of it is our entire defense, minus like 4 guys.
Yeah.
We took care of business. We did what we needed to do. We had some really shitty calls. There was a fumble. Yeah, look at that. Look at the side. Look at that injury report. Good God. And it's a lot of DNPs. We had a fumble. The game was about to be like the doors were going to get blown off, and they called they called it out of bounds on that it may have tapped the front of Pat Fryermuth's helmet. Something it was such bullshit. You could just see that they were trying to, I don't know, keep the game competitive. And also, I wonder if the refs didn't want to lose 2 challenges in the first quarter, because that was what they were 2 bad calls for the Bills. Josh Allen was amazing. Run of the year. Is that the best run you've ever seen by a quarterback in your life?
I liked it a lot.
It was a beauty. It was.
I mean, geez. He got up to 19.88 miles per hour, the fastest speed he's ever been clocked at in the NFL.
Yeah,
longest run in Bills playoff history.
Not as fast as that one run that Daniel Jones had, where he got tripped up by absolutely nothing. But that was a great run. But didn't end in a touchdown. It also gave I just don't know if he was that fast. If everybody it felt like he was being surrounded by players that were about to tackle him, but then kind of like, I don't know, gave up for a second because like, oh, he's a quarterback, we can't hit them. But then I watched it again from a different angle. It's like, oh no, they just couldn't catch him.
Yeah. I mean, he's like 6'5", 6'6", 270, like coming barreling down you, like probably with a smile on his face because he wants you to hit him. I mean, he's a tough guy to fucking play, like to be against him when he's locked in and he's like breathing through his nose and running at you, wants to get hit by you. I mean, I wouldn't want to tackle him. I'd put him as one of the toughest people to bring down in the league. He fights for every fucking yard.
Yeah. Just his size and his speed combination is crazy.
Yeah. Kincaid looked good. Knox looked good. Great back-to-back touchdowns. I think that was like the first time ever. It was like 2 tight ends caught touch. I don't remember. It was all these, they love to drop like the first time in NFL history stuff. The defense rallied. We were playing, like I said, Khair Elam, who was our first round pick from last year. He was relegated to basically being almost off the team. He ended up playing. He got smoked on 2 routes and then made a really nice, lucky interception in the end zone to recover the ball for us. I mean, we had him. I can't believe that was the end of the score ended up being what it was. I thought it was going to be a way bigger blowout. We had a typical Buffalo Bills play of Tyler Bass getting his kick blocked.
Oh, yeah.
And then not only getting blocked, but somehow the ball going backwards 30 yards.
And the punter
our punter removing his hamstring from his bone. And I do want to say, and I don't know how closely you guys were watching or listening, one of the more frustrating things I have with the booth and like the media trying to drum up like storylines during the game is so that when we go right into halftime and the whole talk is Bills are without their punter. What are we going to do without their punter? Meanwhile, at one point they cut to the sideline and it shows Sam Martin kind of talking to like, I don't even think it was like a trainer, like one of the coaches, and the coach is laughing and he's kind of laughing. And I said to my wife, I'm like, I don't think this guy's out. Like, I think he's going to come back in. Then it goes to halftime and they're all talking, a lot of it is like the Bills, what are they going to do without a punter here? Who could be the backup punter? And I'm on Twitter listening to like in-stadium reporters tweeting that he's out there punting. And it's like, do they not have access to like the outside world? Also,
Right.
can't they look out their window and see? Well, that's the punter. And they still cut back and they're like, what are the Bills going to do without their punter? And like on the first drive, they're like, oh, here comes Sam Martin to punt.
Yeah.
It's very, just one of those things. Like if you're as intent as I am in watching, I almost have to have Twitter going on the sideline to be able to make sure like the nonsense that's coming out of Tony Romo's mouth matches what like our on-field people are actually saying.
Yeah, it's just nonsense.
Yeah.
And also of all teams, I mean, there's a few guys in the NFL. It's like, I don't know, you really need a punter. Just have Josh Allen go back and throw it 80 yards.
I'm sure he could punt.
Yeah.
I'm sure he could punt.
I was gonna say just have him throw, but
No, let him punt. He can do anything. He might have to play cornerback next week.
that would be fun to watch. But other than that, the
Took care of
Steelers,
business.
the Steelers, I was so tired of watching Mason Rudolph. It felt like he
Yeah.
threw maybe like 10 to 15 passes that were just to nobody.
Yeah.
It felt like I'm like, is that was a real pass? Is that just gonna be intentional grounding? He wasn't even like he was
Yeah.
like kind of under pressure and he just like then Mason Rudolph to throw. It's like just to no one, like in the
Yeah.
middle of the field. So I'm glad I don't have to watch that anymore. I
And
don't.
game plan wise, I mean, to get up early on them and kind of take running consistently out of their realm of possibility was like you basically neutered them. They had
Yeah.
not like
Yeah.
relying on the pass is not going to be a winning situation for them.
Yeah.
But
Right.
we did our thing. We managed to keep it close, still covered, thank God. My family, as we were up 14, it feels like the win's pretty secured. I then stood up and looked at everybody and went, no touchdowns. And then it was like, you could see the look on my wife's face as she realized, okay, he has bet on the spread on this. And I'm making my 3-year-old son yell, no touchdowns, no touchdowns as they're coming out. So it was a great win. The fans were great. It was fun watching them throw the snow up at the touchdowns. There were some angry Pittsburgh fans online saying how we were throwing snowballs at their players. And it's like,
Whatever.
everybody's got to cry about something.
Yeah.
Great win. We'll see the Chiefs take care of business next week too.
Oh,
I can't wait.
excited to see. I'm very excited for that game, and it just we need some of these Bills players to get healthy because I don't want the Chiefs to move on. I really don't like that the Bills are on like 2 less days rest. That's really the only thing that kind of scares me a little bit is that they got sick. What is it? 5 days or 6 days compared to the Chiefs had 2 whole extra days, which I don't love. But they got to travel. They got to come to Buffalo. I want Patrick Mahomes to just get smoked by Ed Oliver and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Von Miller did
Greg
like he looked like a person for once. He pulled a spin move, made some pressure. I think that whole game kind of counts as like an ice bath though for the Bills. Like it's
Yeah.
like they played
Yeah.
like
Recovery session.
right? Inflammation
Yeah.
way down.
Smart.
Mhm.
Actually, Sarah, in your professional opinion, does that you are a doctor?
That checks out.
That makes sense, right?
I think checks out. Permanent ice bath, recovery levels. They're probably using their little whoops to measure. I think overall, probably pretty good.
All
Yeah.
right, good.
I was surprised. I'm like, how are they getting hurt? I was literally yelling out. I'm like, how are they getting hurt? It's so cold. It's like they've got ice on all their joints.
What do they do? Put more ice?
What do I'm not a doctor.
Who knows? We move on Sunday night. It's going to be a big game. I'm very excited for you. I think we're all rooting for it.
Mhm.
Game of the week.
Yeah, maybe.
Game of the year. Game of my life.
And now, Sarah, I want to give you a little bit of a chance for some positivity here. Eagles Bucks thoughts?
Yes. Oh, I loved every single minute of it. I was exhausted after coming home late the night before, but I stayed up just because I was like, this is too fun to watch right now. I mean, it looked a little shaky at points. The Eagles, though, they are just broken in all aspects. The thing sad news I hate about this is I don't want to get into some sort of coaching battle with Philly right now because I know their fans are really wanting Belichick as well. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, Sirianni getting fired would be absolutely insane after them going to the Super Bowl and starting 10-1 this year. But like the collapse that they had, and clearly again, like his lack of coaching, lack of ability to really hold the locker room did show through. So I think it'd be justified, but it would be insane if he does get fired.
He's getting fired.
He's got to.
He's getting fired.
Yeah.
That was a team that wants their coach to get fired.
Yeah.
What was the report that came out? It's like there's definitely going to be 2 NFC East coaches that get fired. Now it's like it seems almost writing on the wall that there's going to be 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Brian
I
Daboll's
know.
pissing everybody off and the
Yeah.
Giants side too.
Everybody
Yeah.
seems that, which I don't know. I
Yep.
mean, I obviously have to take Dable's side in that, but it's like it's one of those things where, you know, you meet somebody and they're like, oh, I'm not friends with this person, or I hate this person, and you're like, oh, those people suck. And then you start to realize that like everybody in their life is like they have an issue with, and it's like, well, maybe you're the problem, you know?
Yeah.
Like if you have
Yeah.
a problem with everybody, maybe
Yeah.
you have the issue. So it's like
Mhm.
I'm not at that point yet, but I'm starting to like get those rumblings of like, well, if he has issues with everybody, maybe not the easiest guy to work with.
Maybe
Just
he's
needs
the
a
issue.
Snickers.
Yeah. And then he just
Yeah.
turns into some like handsome
Yeah,
bald guy.
yeah, right, exactly.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I
no.
I don't know how much of it's actually from inside the organization or if it's just like everything is just flooded with Philly fans that are like, Sirianni needs to be gone. Sirianni needs to be gone. It's
Right.
like cheesy little nonsense. It's just funny to see everybody start talking the way we were. It's like when they were 10-1, we were like, you know, Sirianni's so annoying. He's yelling at those Chiefs fans.
Yeah.
He's just like being such a it's just such a piece of shit. And now everybody, it's like now that they start losing, it's just like everybody's saying the same thing. So I feel like we kind of staked our flag in the ground real early
Yes.
on this one. So it's nice to see the rest of the world catch up.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, it was good. I mean, the Bucks played well, but not even that great. Like they handled them pretty easily, I think. And Devonta Smith was the only one really doing anything productive for the Eagles. And I was like, if they can keep him going, then it might have been a game. But I mean, Jalen Hurts, I don't know. We've talked about it before. His just body language and his facial expressions, it just like when they're not winning, it just looks so bad because he really just looks like he doesn't care and he hates his life and just wants to get off the field. And I feel like people thought it was cool when they were winning, like he was stoic and everything. But now I feel like if you're a Philly fan, you have to be pissed off for
I
sure.
agree more.
I don't think he's that good.
I don't know.
I really don't.
He's
I
super
really
strong,
don't.
super strong, and like he has his moments, but I mean, I kind of agree. I mean, it's like, you know, he was benched for Tua on that Alabama
Right.
team.
Yeah.
And, I just don't. Yeah, I don't.
I
don't
love the
understand.
tush push getting stopped too. That was
Oh,
just
that was like my favorite moment of the
cherry
night.
on the Sunday, right?
Yep.
Then they
Yep.
kept zooming in and really showing them just ripping Hurts' head off afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
That looks brutal, but also like I kind of like it. It's like, you know, like if you're gonna do this move, like you're gonna get hurt. Like you want to put yourself in this position, we're coming at you. We're coming at you
Yeah.
hard.
Mm-hmm. It felt even extra better knowing that Kelsey was going to retire. Like everyone kind of knew this might be it for him, and the fact that like the tush push got stopped in like one of his last games, that felt good. I have nothing really against him, but because he's on the Eagles, I can't like him right now. So
yeah, he does seem pretty genuinely sweet, just kind of like a nice guy, but. You know, whatever. I'm glad that the Eagles are going to have to figure out a new center that's definitely not going to be as good or be able to figure that out. So, but
and another thing in that game too about the Bucks had like 7 or 8 drops in that game.
Oh yeah,
like
Mike Evans killed them early on.
And they crushed the Eagles with teams with that kind of numbers. Like how often were we talking about it with the Chiefs? The drops. 7 drops in a game or 8. I don't remember what the final number was, but that is a you lose the game kind of thing. It's like 4 turnovers in a game. Like not many teams win when they're having those kind of problems are like they're game drive killers.
Trying to find the stats now, but that also there's no way to win. I mean, well, clearly there is. They were still able to do that. So it's like if they made some of the, I think I very vividly remember at least 2 passes that were just basically clear touchdowns if they caught them.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So I think that's also like one of my favorite stats is like how like they have as many drops in that game as like Larry Fitzgerald had in his entire career. It's still like he has more tackles in his career than drop passes. So they're catching up. But I think overall, I still don't believe in Baker, really. I don't know. I mean, it's just because I've watched him play for a long time, I think. But I just I keep waiting for that to not happen. But, they're talented. I am hoping that they're going to lose to the Lions. I also don't know if you guys saw this. Did you see what Todd Bowles getting interviewed? I don't know if it was right after the game or if it was yesterday. When they were there was a reporter, was asking Todd Bowles how the team's really built, can play well in the nice weather, but going up to the freezing cold temperatures of Detroit, how they're going to be able to handle it. and Todd Bowles
No,
was
I understand. Yeah.
well, they have a dome and we can play inside. And, so she was just really shut this reporter down, which was pretty hilarious. She was like, "Are you sure you're going to be able to play in the frigid temperatures in Detroit?" And he's like, "Yeah, they have a dome and we can play inside."
Yeah, it says Pro Football Focus had him with 4 drops, but I remember during the game they had said it was like 7. So,
Yeah.
but they go back and then they review the film and they give like official.
However they figure
ruling.
that out.
Yeah.
It was a lot of drops. It was like very, very noticeable, big moments, and Baker
Yeah.
did a good job of keeping, like, he kept his head on straight. They have really good receivers. K. Dotton's a really good tight end.
No.
They keep talking about how they can't run, but I thought
I thought they ran the ball.
White, their running
Rashad
back, was
White.
like really good.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
not. I don't know. I guess they're having issues there. And their defense is always good. Todd Bowles is a good defensive coach.
Mhm.
I don't think he's a
Yeah.
good head coach, but he's a good defensive coach. Will
Mhm.
I think they're going to give the Lions. It's going to be a game. This is. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe I'm wrong. I'm not feeling very confident on that, but I wouldn't be shocked if this was a very tight contest, or if the Bucks could win. I really don't think they can, but I don't know. Baker looks good, and he didn't get banged up in that game at all. So if he was
Right.
hurting, it's another week of feeling better.
Yeah, for sure.
Overall, Sarah, it makes us feel pretty good that at least
Mhm.
the Eagles may not be the juggernaut we once feared them to be at the beginning of the season.
Yes. Oh, very good for sure.
So divisional round upcoming this weekend. Only 4 games. It's really coming down to the
That's it.
coming down to the wire, and I think it makes us all sad. But at least they should hopefully be some good games. Texans at Ravens starting it off. Packers 49ers, Lions Bucks, and then finish it off on the weekend Chiefs Bills. Also love the Sunday, the 3 o'clock and 6:30 game as opposed to
Mhm.
4 and 8:30. So
Because you're getting older.
real big fan of that.
Yeah. Mhm.
If we're gonna have some drinks for that Chiefs Bills game, I'd rather start at 6:30.
True. Or
Yeah.
just at noon.
Yeah.
What?
Who said? So now, in other very, very good news, Mike, you are getting the best title back to bestowed upon Blasls
Mhm.
Best Bets after yet another week of 4-1 ball, bringing the season total to 43-43-2. So you are
That's how you do it.
You are very, very hot. As we're doing the units for the playoff. We started with 6.5 units. You bet 1 unit on all of your loves, 2 on the Uber Lock, and a half on the Stinky Dog. So that was 6.5 units, and you are currently up to 9.35 units, up 2.85. So we are building money in the kitty. We're plus, we're in green, and
That's
back
right.
to Blasls Best Bets. And listen, things get tough this time of year. There's only 4 games to pick from. So where are you taking us this weekend, and how are you making us money?
Listen, I just want to tell you that they wrote, but I didn't write back when they took away my best. I didn't write back.
Geno Smith, that's who we're calling upon
That's
for.
it. That's who I channeled to get this betting under control.
Ooh, all right.
Under control is one way to phrase it. Well, let's first, let's say goodbye to the Stinky Dog for this year.
You got it. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Okay.
There's no more Stinky Dog. I mean, maybe it'll make a mystery appearance next week, but I don't see a Stinky Dog for the remainder of the year. It was a great run. We did end up plus
Mhm.
money, like I said, right? We
I
did.
think so, something like that.
Yeah, sure.
maybe.
We made like a
Sure.
couple $1,000. That's why you guys got to listen. But I am introducing a very fun new, very exciting. People have been clamoring wrinkle to this week's betting. But let's get into it. I'm going to start first, guys. What do we say every week? Instead of getting crazy, we're just going to make some bets,
And then
we're going to win the bets.
And we win the bets.
So,
Mm-hmm.
I've been flip-flopping on this one, so I don't know how I'm calling it a love. But speaking of love, I'm taking Niners minus 9.5. It was Packers plus 9.5 for a while. But I am really, I'm feeling that they are a team that has won their Super Bowl. That was a big emotional win. Rookie-ish quarterback, like I said, receivers that I think are playing well over they're over their skis as far as like their performance levels. I think the Niners defense is going to get that pressure that the Cowboys weren't. And I think the Niners are kind of like a machine. And that's not saying that I think the Niners are going to win the whole thing, because I'm really, like I said, there's a part of me that thought the Packers could win this game, but I think the Niners are going to take care of business here at home. 9.5. That's, it's a touchdown and a field goal. I could see this game getting, out of hand pretty quick. McCaffrey running, and then they can like make the game disappear with their running game. So
Yeah.
they get up, they get a good lead. Let's go with the team that everybody thinks is like probably the best chance to win the Super Bowl to cover here.
Yeah.
So we're gonna say we love that. I'm gonna give you my other love. It's this is a shocker for everybody. I love Bills -2.5 home versus the Chiefs. Listen, I bet to win money too here, guys. The Bills are still the better offense, and our defense seems to be, we are channeling that next man up mentality. It is Patrick Mahomes' first road game as an NFL player. He has played the Super Bowls on neutral fields, but never on the road. Bills, for a team that's having issues with wide receiver communication, lining up on the right way, drops, things like that, it gets very loud. They're going to have a hard time like making changes at the line of scrimmage. If you don't watch a ton of football, or even if you do, then like one of the biggest things that I think makes Mahomes so special is like all that pre-snap reads, all the communication, the talking, the changes. That's how we lost in that 13-second game. Was they're at home, it's quiet, and he can yell to Kelsey, make that move, and that's how they get that completion. Well, you're not going to hear shit in Buffalo. You're just going to hear people screaming, and that makes a huge difference. So I expect to see them be a little bit scrambled, and Josh Allen's not letting us lose this game. So that's there you go, 2.5. That's easy. I would have taken that. I would have taken that up to 6.5. I think the Bills are going to win by at least a touchdown.
I like that. And they really, I think that I'm not sure if they can learn anything from Miami, but like Travis Kelce, I mean, he had a bunch of catches in the first half, but the second half, he was slow, didn't really do much. And I think he can shut down Rashee Rice. Like, I don't really know.
Well, Rasul Douglas has said, even though he's on the injury report, he said he is playing. And Kaiir Elam, if that gave him any sort of confidence, this was a first-round cornerback out of Florida who one of his biggest traits, and the reason why we liked him, is man coverage, which we play a zone, which is why it's like, why did we draft this guy? But he's tall, he's athletic, he's long. He can, if he can lock in and play well, he's got all that first-round pedigree, and he just had a pick, and he played well in the playoffs last year, believe it or not. So I like him lining up with Rasul Douglas. If we can't get Christian Benford in the game, we're going to be okay. Our bigger issue and concern is Teron Johnson, who is our only all-pro. He is our nickel cornerback. He guards the slot. He has a concussion. If he can't play, that's a scary loss. But again, we do have to worry. You got to worry about Rashee Rice, but I'm not afraid of the rest of these guys. They're not built for this. Our safeties are healthy, so you're not going to go over the top on us. I like the Bills, and I think we can run it on them.
Yeah, and also what I like the most about Elam too is like he basically got torched on like the 2 plays right before that, and then came back and had the pick. So it's like there is something to that kind of resolve where it's like you're not going to just bend over, and you're not just going to like let it break you. It's like bad play, and they're talking about, oh, they're screwed.
Here we go again.
Next play, taking the end zone. So like that, there is something very mental about that I like.
My text exchange with somebody was, get him off the field. I can't believe this fucking guy's on the field. And then I wrote, I always loved Kaiir Elam. It happened in 3 straight plays. And in the locker room after, because I'm watching all of it, they had the team really rallied around him when they were talking about like game balls and players of the game. And somebody afterwards said, like, if you only knew what like he had been through to get back to this, like they're all pulling for this guy. It's not like they're giving up on him. So I feel confident. I think we're going to be able to do what we need to do. And Mahomes has been shaky this year. Let's one against the lowly Miami Dolphins is not going to make me think they're back. They don't have the personnel. So, and I think we shouldn't give Taylor Swift a box seat. I don't understand how we can. I mean, that's got to be reserved for season ticket holders. I'm sure she's going to get one.
I think she's maybe one of the richest most right now. I think she'll figure it out. But that'd be pretty fun if she's just like in the stands getting snowballs thrown at her.
I wouldn't sell it. I wouldn't sell it. I swear to God. Well, I mean, there's there's a number for everything. Okay, my Uber lock. This will be a 2-unit.
Woo!
Bucks Lions over 48.5.
48.5. I like that.
I like it.
Yeah. Lions are going to score. Bucks are going to score. 48.5 seems like a lot until the game starts, until you bet the under in one of those games. And then you're like, oh shit, 48.5 is not that much points. I really like that. I think that's we're in the dome, speed. Bucks can't drop any more passes than they did. I love Mike Evans. They have the Lions have like the 25th or 26th worst pass defense in the NFL. They have a good run defense, which is like great. Well, apparently the Bucks can't run anymore, so they can throw. Baker looks good, and the Lions are going to score points. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I
I
love
think
that.
that's-
Love. Okay, and then because we're running out of games, I don't have any more straight ups. I've got a 6-point teaser. We're going to bring back the old teaser.
Ooh.
This will be the last one until my new special segment. We're going to take the Texans to plus 15.5. So they're currently 9.5-point underdogs. We're going to take the Lions down to minus 0.5 point.
Lions minus 0.5 point.
Lions minus 0.5 point. And then the Bills Chiefs, we're going to go the over, but we're going to take that down to 39.5. That's going to give you plus 140 odds.
Over 39.5.
Yeah. And how many units do I got out there? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, all you got is 4 units.
All right, we're going to take 2 units on that too.
Ooh.
I love this one. It's 15.5 on the Texans there. Yep. So I like this. I can't get it out of my head. I think one of these number 1 seeds is going to lose. I think it's going to be the Ravens, but I'm not willing to like put money on that because I don't want to feel like an idiot. And I feel like you'll feel like an idiot right away.
Yeah.
So instead, let's just take the Texans up to over 2 touchdowns. The Ravens do blow teams out. So that's actually the scariest leg of this. I like the Lions down to 0.5 point. I do think they are going to figure out a way to win this game. And that means they only just got to win. And the Bills Chiefs 39.5. I don't understand why that line isn't like 48-49. So get to 39. Bills are going to score 30. So I just need the Chiefs to score 10. I think they can do that.
One would hope.
I don't know. Well, if we win 34-3 and I lose that bet, I don't care.
You're still coming in happy to the
I'm
podcast
good.
next week.
All right. So, and then the final piece is going to be the Blasl playoff propaganda.
A whole lot of propaganda going.
It's a fun one. It's a special on a certain gambling site. When they want to send me money to give them free advertising, I'll mention it, but it starts with an F and ends in Andul.
All right. I think what's that? Caesars?
Yep. Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes to combine for 100 rushing yards. That is plus 195. We're going to put 1 unit on that. Full unit.
1 unit was plus 195, you said?
Yep.
All right.
Plus 195. Josh Allen these are big games. The blinders are off. They are not going to stop this guy. They're not going to tell him don't run. They're going to tell him when you see it, do it, take it, go. Josh Allen's going to get 70 yards rushing, 60 yards rushing. He might get 90 yards rushing. And it's not all like I in a game like this where it means everything. He's going to give everything. And Mahomes is good for 2 or 3 of those the most frustrating scampers down the field with his arms flailing, tiptoeing.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, he's good. So I mean, my math there is Josh Allen 70 yards, Mahomes 30.
Yeah, that's just a little simple back of the
That's how I do it. That's how I come up with it. You guys come up with your own strategies, but
back of the napkin math.
that's my propaganda. So
I think any sort of Bills propaganda, I think we'll remember that for next season.
That's right.
That's right. So just to recap for everybody, now we're back on Blasls Best Bets. You're currently up. If you're tailing Mike, you are currently up 2.85 units. So you got a little money in the kitty, and you can save some back now. You can make all these bets and still save some back now.
A little bit.
We're doing 1 unit on the Niners minus 9.5. We're doing at minus 112. 1 unit on the Bills minus 2.5, minus 122. The Uber lock, we're throwing 2 units on the Bucks Lions over 48.5. at minus 105. And then we have the 6-point teaser that's plus 140. We are 6-point teasing the Texans up to plus 15.5, the Lions to minus 0.5 point, and the Bills Chiefs over down to 39.5. So that'll win you, if you bet 2 units on that, that'll win you 4.8 units. And then we got the propaganda, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes to combine for 100 rushing yards at plus 195. So We're making money here. We're feeling good. I like these bets. And most importantly, we got 4 good games of football going on this weekend. So buckle in, stay warm, and everything's excited. So actually, Sarah, just want to do one last wellness check. Want to make sure you don't have any heavy weaponry, heavy machinery, any sort of ropes lying around. How are you doing?
Just generally unwell. Thank you for asking.
Well, listen, we love you. We care about you, and we got to have you next week. So anytime you get sad, just give us a call and remember that. Oh shit, I was gonna say, remember Mike McCarthy's not your coach anymore, but he is. I don't have anything.
You know, get
He's
a
on his way
sleep
out.
number bed. Support your quarterback.
No.
What's your sleep
I'll be
number? You gotta get
picturing-
some rest.
I'll be picturing McCarthy on his way out with the chili all week whenever I feel down.
I'll use all of my skills to try to put his face on.
They're like, Coach, it's third down. What do we do? And he's like, I had indigestion. I did cheddar broccoli.
Wasn't that the whole, what was that? Alex Jones said he couldn't be trusted because he just had a bunch of chili. And
Well,
then
you would know.
And then yeah, that's me, you know. And then he ended up getting sued for $1 billion because he's a psychopath. But maybe maybe there's something to having that belly full of chili. That's why he just makes mistakes and can't get everybody up for games. But that's for our later episodes. Anyway,
I'm the only team left.
You're alive.
I know.
This
Thank
guy.
God.
What could go wrong?
There's something, nothing.
Right? What could possibly happen?
You know, I think now we just need you to build you up as high as possible, either for a huge win or a devastating loss that we'll have to get some immediate reactions for.
I'll be devastated.
Well, anyway, we thank you guys for listening. We love you. As always, follow us on Instagram at Play Your Yards Right. Follow Mike on X at Play Your Bets Right. Watch us anywhere you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple, and also don't forget to watch us on YouTube. See how beautiful our faces look, and it's always good. It's good for the followers to be able to see us, and you know, we share a little stuff sometimes in there. You get to surprise me. So we love.
We haven't had shirts on for 3 weeks. If you haven't been watching,
yep. We get more views on that YouTube. We'll take more stuff off.
That's right.
No, I'm not going to promise that.
check out OnlyFans at
no, we're
Okay.
not. We're not doing that yet. We love you guys. Thank you for listening. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you
Go
next
Bills.
week.